Hello, my friend. I am Alex, your specialist in unlocking the doors to your fluent English. Let us finally set it free. Just listen to my voice, look at the screen, and enjoy the ride.
I'm Alex from English Unlocked. And today, I'm not just going to teach you English. I'm going to sit with you, like a friend, like someone who actually wants to see you get there. So let me ask you something honest. Do you want to speak English? But something inside you stops you every time. Do you understand almost everything when you read it, when you hear it? But the second someone looks at you and waits for your answer, your mind goes blank. Do you feel your heart speed up before you even open your mouth? Maybe a little embarrassed, even with people who like you. If yes, don't close this. Listen carefully. Because today I'm not giving you more grammar rules. I'm not going to bury you in vocabulary lists. I'm going to give you something real. Small habits that quietly rebuild your English and your confidence, one honest step at a time. I want you to imagine this for a second. You and me, sitting together. Maybe you're on your bed right now. Maybe you're walking somewhere, and I'm just talking you through this personally. No pressure, no test, no teacher with a red pen. Just simple, honest learning. Now listen, most people don't fail at English because English is hard. They fail because they try to fix everything at once. Grammar, pronunciation, vocabulary, fluency, all in the same week. And their brain does the only thing it knows how to do with too much at once. It shuts the door. So today, we're doing the opposite. We go slow, but we go real. Habit 1, 3 sentences every day. Here's the biggest truth I can give you, and I want you to really hear it. You cannot learn to speak by reading about speaking. Sounds obvious, right? But this is exactly where most learners get stuck. They watch videos, they read articles, they understand everything on the page. And then, when it's time to actually open their mouth, silence. Why? Because speaking is a skill, not information. It's like riding a bike. You can watch 100 videos about balance and pedaling, but until you actually sit on the bike and wobble a little, you will never learn. English works exactly the same way. So here's your first rule, and I want you to keep it stupidly simple. Say 3 sentences out loud every single day. Not 50, not 20, 3. And I already know what you're thinking. Alex, only 3? Will that really do anything? Yes, if you do it daily, without skipping. Start like this. I am having a good day. I am a little tired. I am ready to try. That's it. Simple, right? But here's where it actually starts working. Don't say each sentence once and move on. Repeat it 5 times, 10 times, out loud. Because your brain learns through repetition, but your mouth learns through actually speaking. 2 different muscles and both need training. And listen, this part matters. Don't whisper these sentences in your mind. Say them out loud with your real voice. If someone's nearby, go to another room. Go outside, take a walk and talk to yourself quietly. But use your voice. Because confidence is never built by thinking. It's built by doing. Let me tell you about Farid. He watched English content every single day for almost 2 years. He understood nearly everything. Songs, interviews, movies. But the moment a real person asked him a real question, his mind went completely blank. He'd smile, apologize, and switch back to his own language. One day he got tired of that feeling. So he made a decision. Every morning before work, alone in his car, he would say 3 sentences out loud. Just 3. The first week, his voice actually shook. He felt ridiculous talking to himself in a parked car. But he didn't stop. By week 3, something had shifted. Not dramatically, just quietly. His voice stopped shaking. By week 6, when a colleague asked him something in English, an answer came out before he even had time to feel afraid. His English hadn't transformed yet, but his nervous system had learned something new, that speaking English was safe, and that changes everything that comes after it. Now pause for a second. Think honestly. Are you someone who watches or someone who does? Because watching feels like learning. It isn't. Doing is learning. Habit 2. Small words are powerful words. Now let's talk about vocabulary, because this is where so many people go completely in the wrong direction. Many learners believe fluency means big, impressive words. Words like magnificent, extraordinary, sophisticated. So they download vocabulary apps, memorize long lists of advanced words, and forget almost all of them within a week. Then they feel like failures. Here's the truth nobody tells them. That's not the mistake of a weak brain, that's just the wrong method. You don't need big words. You need useful words. Words you'll actually use today, tomorrow, and every day after that. Let's take some real ones. Go. Need, try, feel, keep, get, want, make. These 8 simple words used properly can build hundreds of real sentences. I need coffee. I'm trying to focus. I feel better now. I want to understand this. Here's the actual method, and I want you to follow it exactly. Pick 10 simple words a day. Don't just read them. Use them immediately in a sentence about your real life. Say the sentence out loud. Then write it down in a small notebook. Read it again before you go to sleep. Why does this work so well? Because now you're combining 3 types of memory at once: speaking memory, hearing memory, and writing memory. When all 3 work together, your brain has no choice but to remember. Let me tell you about Priya. She spent an entire weekend memorizing 50 advanced words she'd seen in exam preparation guides. By Monday morning, she couldn't recall a single one, not one. She felt completely defeated, and she almost gave up on learning English altogether. Then she changed her approach completely. 10 ordinary words a day. Each one placed into a real sentence about her actual life, her coffee, her commute, her mood that day. She said each sentence out loud, then wrote it in a notebook before bed. 2 weeks later, something surprising happened. She wasn't quoting a dictionary anymore. She was just talking, naturally, using words she actually understood, in her own real voice. Simple words aren't weak. Fluency was never about difficult vocabulary. It's about easy, natural expression, nothing more. Habit 3. Listening, the silent teacher. Now let's talk about something most learners completely ignore: listening. Everyone focuses on speaking. Yes, speaking matters enormously. But listening is what quietly builds your speaking, even though you can't see it happening in the moment. Think about how a child learns their first language. Does a baby learn grammar rules first? Of course not. First, they listen. Again and again and again, for months, long before a single real word ever comes out of their mouth. Your adult brain works exactly the same way, whether you believe it or not. Here's the mistake almost every learner makes. They jump straight into fast, native speed content. Movies, podcasts, native interviews, understand maybe 10% of it, and conclude they're simply bad at English. You're not bad at English. You just picked the wrong training tool for where you are right now. Start simple, very simple, slow English, clear voices, short sentences. Even 5 to 10 minutes a day is genuinely enough, but you have to do it consistently, every single day, without skipping. And here is the golden technique. So listen carefully. Listen. Pause. Repeat. Don't just listen the way you'd listen to entertainment, half paying attention while scrolling on your phone. Listen the way you'd listen to practice, actively, with your full attention, ready to copy exactly what you hear. Let me tell you about Omar. He studied grammar for years. He memorized rules most native speakers don't even know consciously. But when real people spoke to him in real conversations, he understood almost nothing. Nothing at all. It confused him deeply, because on paper, his English looked excellent. Why did this happen? Because he had never once trained his ears. Not seriously, not consistently. So he changed his method. 10 minutes daily. Simple, slow audio. Pausing after each sentence, repeating it out loud in the exact rhythm he'd just heard. At first, honestly, nothing made sense. It felt frustrating and slow. But he continued anyway. And slowly. First individual words became clear, then full sentences, then real understanding. And once understanding arrived, his speaking improved almost automatically without him even trying to force it. Remember this. Your ears are like muscles. The more consistently you train them, the stronger they become. There's no shortcut around this one. Now stop again for a moment. Just think honestly with me. Are you actually practicing these things daily? Or are you just watching this video and planning to start someday? Because someday rarely arrives on its own. In the next part, I'm going to show you something even more powerful. How reading, thinking, and writing can transform your English quietly, from the inside, not just from the outside. And I'll share a few deeper psychological tricks that most teachers never bother explaining. So don't stop here. Your journey has only just started. Welcome back to English Unlocked. I'm Alex. Before we continue, I want to ask you something honestly. Are you still just listening, or are you genuinely ready to change your English starting today? Because what I'm about to share now is exactly where most learners either transform or quietly give up. So stay with me. Don't just hear this. Feel it. Take a slow breath. Now imagine this clearly. You wake up one ordinary morning and suddenly you don't have to translate every sentence in your head anymore. You don't feel that familiar wave of nervousness before speaking. Words simply come naturally without a fight. That version of you isn't far away at all. It depends entirely on what you choose to do daily, starting from right now. Habit 4. Read like you mean it now. Listen carefully because reading is genuinely a silent teacher. It never shouts at you, it never forces you. But quietly, patiently, it reshapes how your brain processes English. Most learners avoid reading completely. They say, "Alex, reading is boring," or "Alex, I don't understand anything I read." But here's the honest truth. They're simply choosing material that's far too difficult for where they currently are. Let me simplify this completely for you. You don't need thick novels. Start with something so easy your mind feels genuinely relaxed while reading it. short stories, small paragraphs. Even 5 or 6 simple lines are more than enough to begin. And here is the real method, so pay close attention. Don't read quickly, read slowly. Feel every single word as you read it. Understand every sentence fully before moving to the next one. And here's a genuinely powerful trick. Read out loud, not silently. When you read silently, only your eyes are working. But when you read out loud, your brain, your mouth, and your ears are all working together at the same time. And that combination creates far stronger learning than silent reading ever could. Let me tell you about Jade. She hated reading in English. She always skipped it, month after month, telling herself it simply wasn't for her. And after nearly a year of avoiding it entirely, her English had barely moved forward at all. Then one day she forced herself to try. Just 10 minutes. One simple story, read slowly and out loud. She didn't understand every single word, but crucially, she didn't stop either. The next day, she did it again. 10 minutes. Then again the day after that. Slowly, unfamiliar words became familiar. Sentences that once felt confusing became genuinely easy. And something interesting happened without her even noticing at first. Her speaking quietly improved too, without any extra effort on her part. Why did this happen? Because reading gives you ready-made sentence patterns. You stop having to build every single sentence completely from zero in your head. Your brain naturally starts copying the structures it has seen repeated again and again. So starting from today, just 5 to 10 minutes. No excuses, even on the days you genuinely don't feel like it. Do it anyway. Because discipline consistently beats motivation, every single time. Habit 5. Think in English, the real game changer. Now we're entering something genuinely powerful, something that quietly separates beginners from truly fluent speakers. Thinking in English. Let me ask you honestly. When you want to speak English, what actually happens inside your head? First, you think fully in your native language. Then you translate that thought word by word. Then finally, you try to speak it out loud. And somewhere in that entire process, you become slow, confused, and completely stuck. Now listen closely. Fluent speakers don't translate at all. They think directly in English, even if it's just small, simple fragments at first. And I already know exactly what you're thinking right now. Alex, how can I possibly think in another language? It genuinely feels impossible. Yes, at first it does. Because your brain has spent years being trained exclusively in your native language. But here's the good news. We can absolutely retrain it, gradually, with consistent small steps. Start with very small thoughts. I am sitting. I am drinking water. I am a little tired right now. That's genuinely enough to begin with. Don't force big, complicated sentences yet. Here's a practical exercise you can do immediately. Right now, wherever you are, look around you and silently describe things in English. This is my phone. This is my desk. I am sitting in my room. Simple. But this quietly builds an entirely new habit inside your brain. And here's something genuinely psychological worth understanding. Your brain always follows its dominant habit. If you think exclusively in your native language every day, that becomes fully automatic. But if you start thinking in English daily instead, that becomes automatic too, over time. Let me tell you about Yusuf. He translated every single sentence in his head, every single word for years. And it exhausted him completely. Speaking English felt like a genuinely heavy, draining task rather than a natural conversation. Then one day he made a firm rule for himself: no translating at all. Only direct thinking, even if the thought was just two simple words long. The first day was genuinely very difficult. The second day, still hard. But he didn't quit. After one full week, his thinking had noticeably become a little faster. After 1 month, he had essentially stopped translating altogether. And that's exactly when his fluency truly began growing, quickly and quite naturally. Remember this clearly. Fluency was never really about speaking fast. It's genuinely about thinking directly, without that extra translation step slowing everything down. Habit 6. Write 5 honest lines. Now listen. Writing is something most people completely ignore, but it's honestly one of the strongest tools available to you. Because when you write, you naturally slow your thinking down. You start noticing your own mistakes clearly. You genuinely begin understanding sentence structure in a way that speaking alone doesn't teach you. And don't worry, I'm not asking you to write full essays, just simple, honest sentences. Write things like this: I am happy today. I am learning English. I feel good right now. Or write about your actual day. I woke up at 7. I had breakfast. I went outside for a walk. Here's something genuinely powerful about this practice. When you write consistently every day, your brain naturally starts organizing your thoughts more clearly overall. And when your thoughts become clearer, speaking naturally becomes noticeably easier too. Think about it honestly this way. If you only speak without ever writing, you'll often forget useful patterns you've learned. But if you write as well, you build genuinely stronger, more lasting memory. Let me tell you about Clara. She was genuinely afraid of writing in English. She kept thinking, my sentences will all be wrong, people will notice. So she avoided writing entirely for a long time. But one day she finally started. Just 3 simple sentences, that's all. The next day 5 sentences, then 7. And slowly, she began noticing something meaningful. Her sentences were genuinely becoming clearer and better. Her confidence was quietly increasing too. And when she spoke out loud afterward, the right words came to her far more easily than before. Why did this happen? Because writing is essentially practice without any real pressure attached to it. So tonight, before you go to sleep, I want you to try something small. Write just 5 honest sentences. No pressure for perfection at all. Just genuine, honest expression of your actual day. Now pause here with me for a moment. Don't rush forward yet. Just think honestly. Are you really practicing these habits as we go? Or are you simply watching this video pass by? Because watching genuinely feels like learning, but it isn't the same thing at all. Real learning begins the moment you feel a little uncomfortable. When you try, when you repeat, when you fail, and you keep going anyway. And listen. If you've genuinely made it this far into the video, that tells me something important. Something inside you is serious about this. Something inside you genuinely wants real change. In the next part, I'm going to show you something even more powerful. How to speak comfortably with real people. How to remove fear almost completely. How to make English a natural part of your everyday life. And how to build confidence that nothing can easily shake. I'll also share something honest. Why some learners transform their English within months, while others stay stuck in the same place for years without ever quite understanding why. So don't stop here. Because this final part might genuinely be the turning point. Not just for your English, but for your overall confidence. Welcome back to English Unlocked. I'm Alex. And before we begin this final section, I want you to sit for just a second and genuinely feel this. You started this video as someone who was maybe confused, maybe a little afraid, maybe feeling stuck. But right now, you're honestly not quite the same person anymore. Because now, you actually know the exact path forward. The only real question left is this. Will you actually walk on it, or will you leave it right here? Let me be completely honest with you. English was never truly difficult. It's your own mind that quietly makes it feel difficult. Fear, hesitation, constant overthinking. These are the real obstacles standing in your way, and today, together, we're going to break them down completely. Habit 7. Talk to real people. Now listen carefully. Until this point, you've genuinely been practicing alone, speaking to yourself, thinking silently, writing quietly in a notebook. That's all genuinely good and necessary groundwork. But now it's time to step fully into the real world. Because real, lasting confidence never comes from practicing alone. It comes specifically from speaking with another actual person. And I know exactly what happens in your mind right now. Your heart starts beating a little faster just thinking about it. You think, what if I make a mistake? What if they judge me for it? Let me be completely honest with you. Yes, you absolutely will make mistakes. Everyone does, including native speakers. But here's something genuinely powerful to remember. People care far less than you honestly imagine they do. Most people are deeply absorbed in their own lives. They're simply not judging you nearly as harshly as your own mind imagines. Start small, genuinely small. Don't attempt long, complicated conversations right away. Just say, hello. How are you? What are you doing today? That's genuinely enough for now. And here's a useful trick. Speak slowly, on purpose. When you speak too quickly, your brain tends to panic under the pressure. When you speak slowly instead, your brain stays noticeably calmer throughout the conversation. Also, listen carefully to this. A conversation isn't only about speaking your part, it's equally about listening to the other person. When you genuinely listen, you understand them better. And when you understand them better, you naturally respond far more effectively. Let me tell you about Malik. He practiced alone constantly and became genuinely quite good at it when he was alone. But the moment he actually met someone in person, he became completely silent every single time. One day, someone simply asked him, "How are you?" He knew the correct answer perfectly well, but fear stopped him from saying it out loud. That day, he genuinely felt terrible about it. Quite bad, honestly. But instead of quitting altogether, he made a firm decision. Next time, I will actually speak. And the next time it happened, he said one simple sentence. I am fine. Small, but genuinely powerful in that moment. Then slowly he started speaking a little more each time, gradually building outward. And after a few weeks of consistent small effort, he was having genuinely normal, comfortable conversations. So what actually changed for him? Not his English first, honestly. His courage changed first. And his English simply followed close behind it. So starting from today, talk to someone. Even for just 2 minutes. A friend, a stranger, anyone at all. And if genuinely nobody is available right now, record your own voice instead. Speak. Listen back. Improve gradually. Habit 8. Watch smart, not random. Now let's talk honestly about watching content, because you're already doing quite a lot of it. But here's the real question. Are you actually learning from it, or simply consuming it passively? Most people watch content the exact way they watch entertainment. Scrolling, half-watching, forgetting almost everything within minutes. That genuinely isn't real learning at all. You need to watch like an active learner instead. Choose simple videos, slow, clear English. Nothing too fast or overly complicated for where you currently are. And here's the real secret method. Pause, repeat, copy. Watch just one line at a time. Pause the video immediately. Repeat that exact line out loud, in the speaker's own rhythm and tone. Try genuinely to copy their tone and their natural style as closely as you can. This specific technique is called shadowing, and it's honestly one of the most powerful, underused tools in language learning today. Because through this process, you're not just learning individual words anymore. You're genuinely learning how English actually sounds when spoken naturally. Let me tell you about Sophia. She watched hours of English content every single week for well over a year, yet barely improved at all during that time. Why? Because she only ever watched passively, without ever pausing to actually repeat anything out loud. Then she completely changed her approach. Short, slow clips, pausing after each line, repeating each sentence out loud, copying the pronunciation as closely as she genuinely could. Within just a single month, her pronunciation and her overall confidence had both visibly, noticeably shifted for the better. Not because she suddenly watched more content overall, but because she finally started watching it correctly, with real focus and intention. Habit 9. Make English a daily habit. Now, this is genuinely the most important lesson of everything we've covered so far. If you truly understand this one point, everything else naturally falls into place around it. English isn't really a subject you study and eventually finish. It's honestly a habit, one you either consistently keep or one you don't. Many learners start with enormous initial energy. Day 1, 2 full hours of intense study. Day 2, absolutely nothing at all. Day 3, they try to start again, then quickly stop once more. And then they genuinely wonder, why am I simply not improving at all? Of course you're not improving under those conditions, because real, lasting progress genuinely requires consistency above almost everything else. Let me simplify this completely for you. 10 honest minutes daily is genuinely more powerful than 2 intense hours crammed into just once a week. So create a real routine for yourself. Morning or evening, whichever genuinely fits your actual life. Fix a specific time, speak a little, learn a few words, listen a little, read a little. That's genuinely enough on most days. And even on your busiest, most exhausting days, do at least 5 minutes. But do something. Never truly zero. Never fully break the chain you're building. Let me tell you about Daniel. He used to study in a completely random, unpredictable pattern. Sometimes a great deal in one sitting, sometimes nothing at all for entire weeks. And genuinely, he saw very little real progress overall, month after month. Then he changed exactly one single thing about his approach: consistency. 10 minutes daily, without exception, no matter how he felt that particular day. After several consistent weeks, he genuinely started feeling real improvement for the first time. After a few consistent months, he had become genuinely confident in ways he hadn't been before. So what was the actual hidden magic behind his transformation? It honestly wasn't natural talent. It wasn't raw intelligence either. It was simply, plainly, consistency. Nothing more complicated than that. Habit 10. Record your own voice. Now here's a habit almost nobody talks about, and honestly it might be the fastest way to see real, visible progress. Record yourself speaking, just 30 seconds. Once a week is genuinely enough to start. Pick any simple topic. Your weekend. Your favorite food. Your plans for tomorrow. Open your phone, hit record, and just talk for 30 seconds without stopping, without editing, without trying to sound perfect. Then, and this part matters, actually listen back to it. Most people avoid this step completely, because hearing your own voice in another language can feel genuinely uncomfortable at first. That discomfort is exactly the point. When you listen back, you'll notice things you never notice while speaking in the moment. Where you paused too long. Which words you hesitated on. Where your grammar slipped without you realizing it. This isn't about judging yourself harshly. It's about seeing clearly, honestly, exactly where you actually are right now, not where you assume you are. Do this every week, same topic style, and keep the old recordings. Because here's what happens after a month or two, and it's genuinely one of the most motivating moments in this entire process. You go back and listen to your very first recording, and you barely recognize your own voice. The hesitation is gone. The pauses are shorter. The sentences flow more naturally than you remembered. Let me tell you about Kenji. He genuinely hated the sound of his own voice in English. Every time he tried recording himself, he'd delete it within seconds, feeling embarrassed by every small mistake he heard. One day he decided to try something different for himself. Record it once. Don't delete it. Don't even listen back yet. Just save it and move on. Do that every week for a month. At the end of the month, he finally sat down and listened to all 4 recordings in a row, from the very first to the most recent. And he was honestly stunned. The version of him from week 1 sounded nervous, slow, full of long pauses. The version from week 4 sounded like a genuinely different person, calmer, quicker, far more natural. Nothing dramatic had happened in between. He'd simply kept showing up, week after week. But hearing the actual proof, in his own voice, changed how he felt about his own progress completely. Sometimes you need real evidence, not just a feeling, to actually believe you're improving. So starting this week, record 30 seconds. Save it. Don't judge it yet. Just come back to it in a month and let your own voice show you exactly how far you've genuinely come. Habit 11. Borrow confidence until it becomes real. Now we arrive at genuinely the most powerful part of everything we've discussed together today. Confidence itself. Because without real confidence, you will likely stay silent even when you actually know the correct English perfectly well in your head. And with genuine confidence, even imperfect, broken English can still sound remarkably strong and clear to the person listening. let me be completely honest with you about something important. No one, genuinely nobody, including fluent native speakers, speaks perfectly all the time, every single time. Even they make small mistakes constantly, without a second thought. So why exactly are you still waiting to become perfect before you finally start speaking? Start now, exactly as you are today. Speak now, with whatever English you currently have available to you. And whenever fear quietly shows up again, which it naturally will from time to time, gently tell yourself this instead. I am learning. I am genuinely improving. I am allowed to make mistakes along the way. Your own words quietly shape your mindset over time, and your mindset, in turn, genuinely shapes your confidence. Take small, honest steps forward. 1 sentence today. Perhaps 2 tomorrow. Slow, steady growth is still genuinely real growth, even when it doesn't feel dramatic in the moment. And please never compare your own journey to someone else's. Some people will genuinely learn faster than you. Others will learn more slowly. But your specific journey belongs entirely to you and to nobody else. Let me tell you about Nora. She stayed silent out of genuine fear for many months, avoiding almost every opportunity to speak. But one day she finally said just one single sentence out loud. Her voice was quiet, honestly shaking a little, but she genuinely spoke it anyway. The next day she did it again, and again the day after that. And slowly, gradually, her fear began quietly fading into the background. Real confidence took its place, little by little, day by day. Because confidence genuinely never arrives first, ready and waiting. Action always comes first. Confidence simply follows close behind it, once you've already started moving forward. Final words. Now listen carefully, one final time. I want you to stop for a moment and genuinely look at yourself right now. Not the old version of you from before this video. The new version, the one sitting here right now, having genuinely finished this entire journey with me. You now truly know what to do. You know exactly how to do it. And you understand clearly why each part actually matters. So please don't wait quietly for tomorrow to somehow feel more ready. Start today, right now, exactly as you are. Speak a little, learn a little, practice a little, consistently. And one day, likely sooner than you currently expect, you'll genuinely realize something remarkable. You're speaking English naturally, without that familiar fear, without constant hesitation holding you back. And when that particular day finally arrives, I want you to remember this exact moment, right now, when you honestly decided not to quit. If you're genuinely serious about this journey, then please don't just watch quietly and move on. Commit fully. Subscribe to English Unlocked. Come back here daily. Practice consistently. Grow steadily, one honest day at a time. And before you leave this video, please comment just one simple line below. I will start today. Not for me, honestly. For yourself entirely. I'm Alex, and I'll genuinely see you in the next one.